I'd like to talk about an important sales lesson that I learned and then get into today's book. How many times have people come up to you and said, "Hey, I have an awesome idea. You should do this," or "This is a great idea. How about you change this what you're doing? How about you study something else instead of studying to be an architect? How about you become a doctor, or how about you become a lawyer?" Or how about instead of reading this book, you should read this book. And people are full of great ideas. But the problem that I found in my own life is that there are so many ideas that's like, I don't know which ones to choose, because there are good, better, and best ideas. And it depends on each person, right? Some ideas might be bad ideas for one person and the best ideas for another person. And so the question is, how do you find out? Well, when somebody, let me tell you this. I had an experience this past week. Somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I really enjoy your business. For a school project, I'm making cups and like drinking bottles." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Would you mind if I made one for you and your wife with your logo on it? Because I really like your business." I'm like, "Heck yeah, that would be awesome." And so I didn't really think anything about it. Next week, I completely forgot about it. And this girl brings in these mugs, right? Look how freaking nice this is with my name on it too, right? So it has our logo and the name, and it's high quality. And I'm like, that is really impressive. And right after she gave them to me and my wife went on and on about how cool they were. And everyone on our team was like, "Oh, those are so sick. Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one?" What did she do? She didn't, I don't think she did this on purpose, but what she did was she gave something, and then I was able to see if it was valuable to me or not. And then based on that, I was then able to say, "Yeah, I actually really like it, and I see all my team really likes it. And so, yeah, I want to buy." I'm actually trying to find her and I wouldn't think it's a business or anything, but I'm trying to find her, and I want to ask her if she can make all of them or some of them for all of our team, because they're so freaking cool. And so that was just such a cool sales lesson that I learned this week. And it goes hand in hand with The Ultimate Sales Machine, the book that I'd like to review this week, that we're reviewing this week. That if you really, one of the most powerful things you can do is let people try before they buy. Give someone a prototype. Give someone your product, your service. Give them a taste, and then they'll want to, and then they can decide. Then they can decide whether, "Oh, I love that," or "No, it's not really for me." And the people are like, "No, it's not really for me." That's okay. You don't want them to buy your product because they're going to be unsatisfied, and then they're going to leave bad reviews because it's not for them. But if they get to try it, and then they're like, "I didn't really like it," or like this mug thing, I was able to see it. I guarantee you, she would have said, "Hey, do you want to, I'm selling cups, and I'll sell them to you for $10 a piece or $20 or whatever a piece to all of your team, and they'll all be custom." I would have been like, "No, I don't really need it. I don't really know if my team's gonna want it, because I can ask them, but I never really know until I have like that actual thing." So that was an awesome lesson that I learned. Going straight into The Ultimate Sales Machine, it's a pretty decent book on sales. And I'd like to share 3 lessons that I learned from the book. Now, the first lesson starts off the book really well, and he says, "Mastery isn't about doing 4,000 things, but rather 12 things 4,000 times." That's so cool. Mastery isn't about doing 4,000 things. It's about doing 12 things 4,000 times. And he has his 12 principles. But I thought that that's just a cool overall lesson. I've seen it with myself as well, especially recently with our own sales and marketing, that we were trying to literally do 4,000 things. Oh, what about paid ads? And what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And we had so many different directions we were trying to go, and we spread ourselves too thin, and we weren't able to really get anything done because we were spending 15 minutes on so many projects rather than spending 4 hours a day on one project, or 8 hours a day on 2 projects, So I thought that was a really cool. It's not about doing 4,000 things, but rather 12 things 4,000 times. The next lesson I learned was about the Dream 100. Now, let me know if you've heard of this concept of the Dream 100 below. It's a really cool concept, and I actually heard it first from Russell Brunson in his book Expert Secrets. And I tried to understand it, and I tried to understand it. I understood the concept of it, but I couldn't understand how to actually apply it in my own business. And I tried and tried and tried, and I failed so many times. And literally, 3 years later, is it 3 years? Yeah, 3 years from when I read Russell Brunson's book until I read this book, that I tried to understand it during those 3 years, and I couldn't. When Chet Holmes explained it in this book, I finally understood it. And here's the principle. The Dream 100 are basically your top 100 dream customers. Now, the part that threw me off was this. If it depends on what business you're in, depending on what business you're in, it might be a different 100 people. Let me explain. So if I'm in, he explains in his own life that he was working for Charlie Munger, big business owner, and I believe it was an ad agency that they were running. They were selling to big customers, right? They were selling to Wells Fargo and big banks, and I can't remember some of the names, but they were just like $100 billion a year, $10 billion a year companies. They're just making tons, and they were selling them on getting his firm to run their ads for them. Okay, so big customers. That's who his customers were, the actual customers who were buying. But I tried to figure that out in my own business, where I'm selling something a lot less, on a lower price to a lot more people, whereas his was a lot higher price to fewer people. And so I was trying to figure that out. If I'm selling a $15 service, then how I can't just have 100 people that I sell it to. That doesn't make sense. And so I was trying to figure out, well, is it influencers I'm selling, and then they get their friends to come? And I was just trying to figure this out. And it took a long time. We finally figured it out for our business. And specifically with our business, it's not about the individual customers. Rather, it's about where those customers are congregating, who they're going to. Okay? So in the case of our business, we have a lot of high schoolers and college kids. And so our dream customers then weren't the individual college kids. Oh, let me pick 100 random college kids. No, it was where they were going, and they were going to universities. Okay, this university is our dream customer. How can we get this entity, this university, as our customer, and how do we work with them? And then get them to send their people over to us. and same with the high schools, and same with different church groups. And that became our Dream 100. And so with your business, it might be your individual clients, it might be where your clientele is congregating. So it might be on like with different influencers on social media. For us, because we have a brick and mortar company, we are local, and so we picked local organizations. But if yours is online, then it's probably going to be online. That was a really an awesome breakthrough. And he said that he applied this with his ad agency, and in the first year they were able to double sales. The second year they were able to double sales again. In the third year they doubled it again. And Charlie Munger brought in Chet Holmes into his office because he was leading sales. He's like, okay, are we doing anything criminal or illegal in any way? He's like, no. We're just finally understanding how to sell. And so I thought that was a really cool story, that when they were able to narrow in, remember, that's kind of a theme that we've been learning from these books, is narrow in your focus. Don't try to do 10 businesses all at once. Focus in on your one business. Don't have your business try to do 10 different things for 10 different people. Narrow in on who's that one person that you are serving, and that one product that's going to give them that one solution to their one problem. Narrow in, and what's your one marketing strategy, or what's your, and really start to narrow in on your view, and stop focusing on 4,000 things, but focus on the few things 4,000 times that you need to do. And after he left this ad agency, he actually went to Hollywood, and he's like, he wrote this script for a movie. He's like, I really want to turn this into a movie. How can I do this? He's like, what if I applied that Dream 100 strategy in Hollywood? And so he got the top 100 people's names, the directors, actors, actresses, just everybody, I believe it's called screenwriters, and he got all their information, their contact, and he called them, and he called them, and he called them. And I think in the book he was talking about how he got in, and he was able to meet with all these people. I believe it actually turned into a movie. And he wasn't a Hollywood guy, but he used this strategy, the Dream 100, as his main strategy to get in. And that's actually our main strategy as well in marketing, is this Dream 100 strategy of your 100 top customers, or where your customers are congregating. The last lesson I learned was, he talks about hire superstar salesmen, specifically for sales, right? And he says, two things that I look for, and it's really more like one thing that he looks for, is confidence, and self-confidence and persistence. So it's two things: self-confidence and persistence. Okay, and he shares the stories like, and I've heard different opinions on this, but his opinion is this. He's like, I always look for people that have a strong mother and father background, at least one of them who really believed in them, and always told them that they were the best, and that they could accomplish anything, and that they were going to do big things with their life. And he said, I always look for those people because they've been bred with self-confidence, and so they're naturally going to emulate self-confidence. And he said, he's like, my own mother, she was amazing to me at breeding self-confidence, always telling me I could do things and do whatever I put my mind to. And he's like, I could have told my mom I was wanting to be a bank robber, and she would have said, "Oh, honey, you would make a great bank robber." I thought that was so funny. And the second story that he tells along with that is he goes through the scenario of actually hiring somebody, and he says, you want to put out an ad and say, we're looking for the best. No school requirements, no past experience requirements. We're looking for the best salesman. And he puts out this ad, and he says, you're going to get a lot of people that will respond. And usually, who's going to respond to an ad like that that's calling out the top salesman? People that have a lot of self-confidence. So you get on the phone with them and you say, Chet, so you reached out to us for being the top salesman. So tell me, why would you make a superstar salesman in our company? And he said, usually the person's like, well, can you tell me a little bit about the job first? He's like, that's a conversation for another time. It's a lot longer conversation. We first need to make sure that you be right for the job. So tell me, why would you make us a superstar salesman? And he's like, well, and he's just, there's like imaginary what most people say. They're like, well, I mean, I have experience in sales. I have 5 years experience, and in my last company, I really liked it. And then Chet's like, you just interrupt him. You're like, I'm not feeling it. What? Yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I don't think that you have what it takes to get the position. And the person will be like, okay, yeah, I just think that it's a position for another guy. Okay, well, thanks for the time. Yeah, appreciate it. Bye-bye. And they hang up. That's not the person you want to hire, according to him, for being a salesman. Now, this isn't every position, because you're not looking for these qualities in every position, but specifically a superstar salesman. Now he says what the conversation ideally should look like for finding a superstar salesman is you get on the phone and you're like, yes, Chet, thanks for applying for the position. Please tell me why. So tell me, why would you make a superstar salesman? Well, and he says they'll instantly start selling you. In my last company, I was able to take them from this point to this point, and we were able to double sales the past 3 years. And I would be very happy to work for a company like yours. It looks like you guys have a great operation going. And you still kind of, you're like, I'm not feeling it right now. And they'll be like, well, you must not have heard what I said. But and so he says, look for when they push back, because in this interview, it's a role play of how they're going to do sales for you in your company. So if they're like, if you say, I'm not really feeling it, where you're on the fence, I'm not really feeling it, you're not saying no, you're just like, I don't know. If they crumble and they're like, oh, okay, no worries. Well, then they're going to do that when selling your product. Oh yeah, I'm not really feeling your product. Oh, okay, no worries, that's okay. But a superstar salesman is going to be persistent and take that as an opportunity and be like, well, here, what are you looking for in the position? And start asking you the questions. Turn the interview on you. So what are you looking for in a superstar salesman? What would be your top qualities you would say you're looking for? What would success look like to you? And start asking you the questions and be persistent and not give up. And when you say no, they come back with reasons why they should be it, and with just with persistence. And I thought that was a really neat story explaining superstar salesman and the difference between average and superstar. And with those 3 lessons, it's not 4,000 things, but 12 things 4,000 times, the Dream 100, and hiring superstar salesmen. There are lots of other lessons to be learned in that book. My challenge for you this week is to read the book, read it or listen to it on Audible. It's a phenomenal book, and I would love to know, if you comment below, what is your favorite sales book of all time? Your favorite one. And I would be very interested, because I'm always looking for more sales books. Right now I'm specifically honing in on sales and marketing for our business. And so if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. Okay, have a great week.